Hello, I'm Brigantia Blackbird of Blackbird's Brew. Happy Thursday and welcome to the Pagan Housewife. Today we're getting to know local spirits because there's all manner of things that might go bump in the night, and sometimes those things are right in our own neighborhoods. So, delving into the local folklore and finding out what's lurking around, at least allegedly lurking around, it's all about becoming more rooted in one's surroundings. And whether you find tales about cryptids or ghosts or spirits of the land, the very idea of such things can be very intriguing. And perhaps it's something to investigate to see if there's any substance to the claims. Always worth finding out about that. And I admit that I do worry sometimes for American pagans because we can get so lost in everything having to do with our pagan ancestors and things that happened an ocean away than where they lived that we lose sight of where we actually are today and certainly lose sight of the energies we are actually coming into contact with. So, just for fun, I did a little digging and I found a few points of interest nearby to where I live. I'm actually not too far from the University of Central Missouri, and I didn't live in this area for very long before I began hearing rumors of alleged hauntings. Now, as of yet, I have not had the opportunity to see for myself and make a have a proper look around, but it is definitely on the to-do list. Now, at the college, these hauntings are thought to be primarily happening in dormitories, which is kind of to be expected. The first is in Dimer Hall, where a student very sadly hung himself, and apparently, where this occurred, there's a sink that is known to turn on by itself. Then in the North Ellis building, there were reports of an alarm clock flying across the room, and some claim to have seen an apparition in the mirror. And in Housewife Hall, it said that the place is haunted by the ghost of a student who committed suicide while pregnant. Horrible that. Then in the Osborne Phillips Hall, there were rumors that was shut down because of a haunting. However, the official line is that it was closed because of financial issues. But let's be real, if there was a legitimate haunting that was so severe that they actually closed down the building, we really think that the powers that be at the college would ever admit to that publicly? No, no. We can, it's at least worth investigating and seeing and finding out. But that being said, I think the best known suspected haunting is actually on the third floor of Yater Hall. It's the oldest student residence on campus, and during every Halloween season, the third floor is opened up for guided tours. And, infuriatingly, my husband and I have not managed to take that tour yet. It seems like every year, we get mixed up on the dates, or we don't book in time, or time gets away from us, something happens. But, it's on the to do list. Now, the thing that Yater Hall is known for is lights coming on by themselves and the sounds of footsteps when no one is there, cold spots, and even the sighting of shadow figures. So, definitely worth investigating. And then a bit further afield, but still within the state of Missouri, there's a few other things that would be interesting to at least check out. There's the Haunted Limp Mansion, which I have heard is thought to be in one of the top 10 most haunted places in the United States. It began as a family home, but there's been an unusual number of people who resided there who suffered really odd deaths. There was a lot of cases of suicide, and there was just a pronounced degree of mental illness that just really stood out. The house was later converted into a boarding house, and people, continued to report strange occurrences. Then, in 1975, it became a restaurant and an inn. And since that time, both employees and guests have reported feeling chills when the building was otherwise warm, hearing disembodied voices, seeing floating glasses, and a piano playing by itself. Without the piano actually having the technological capability of doing so. And then you have the attic. Creepy things always in the attic, isn't there? There's a spirit that's called Monkey Face Boy. He's thought to be the illegitimate child of one of the former and very wealthy owners. According to what I read, he was born with Down syndrome. It wasn't understood at the time. And in consequence, he was kept locked in the attic. And his ghost has been seen looking out of the attic windows. And it's believed that his father's ghost still lurks in the home, but he's not in the attic with his son. Apparently, he likes to creep on ladies in the restrooms, peeking over the stall doors, giving them a little bit of a shock. If he was a rotter in death, I'd just imagine what he was like in life. And then you have the tale of Molly Crenshaw. She was a freed slave, and it is believed that she practiced voodoo. And according to the story, she would go into town and she would sell spells and charms to the locals. Now, for a while, things were all right, but it went sour when there was a year of failed crops, and the townspeople made Molly their scapegoat, and they apparently went to her house and lynched her. But before she died, Molly cursed the mob. I mean, deservedly so. And it seems that killing her wasn't actually enough for them, and there was some concern that she might rise from the dead. So what they did is they dismembered her body, and then they buried various pieces of her body separately. Gruesome stuff. And according to the legend, anyone who finds Molly's grave or graves, you know, if your body's in more than one place, is there, how do you determine what the primary gravesite is? But those who do apparently can expect to find themselves joining her in the hereafter. And there are claims that some of the people who went looking for her resting place were never seen again. And of course, Missouri also has its foot of Bigfoot sightings, reports of Bigfoot sightings, I should say. One of the theories about Sasquatch creatures is that they are a migratory species, and if they exist, and if that is indeed the case, Missouri does seem to be on the path for their seasonal comings and goings. Quite a few counties in Missouri have had reports, and it does seem that more people are taking an interest in this, investigating, trying to figure out what the truth of this creature might actually be. Now, I haven't seen anything myself, but I am in a fairly rural area, so I mean, I'm definitely keeping my eyes peeled and my ears open because who knows what might be lurking in the woods, corporeal or otherwise. And I like to think that there is still some mystery left in the world and that we haven't quite discovered all that there is to find just yet. So, may you have some happy hunting in your own neck of the woods. And I would encourage you to get to know just whatever folklore is big in your area. Just find out what it is, see if you can visit some of the places where there might have been some odd occurrences and just, feel the energy of there. Do you think that there's something going on? Do you think it's just people's overactive imaginations? Whatever the case that may be, use this as another tact for getting to know the land that you're actually on. And I do think that knowing the stories of a place, that's another way of really setting down roots. And I don't know about you, but I think a few more roots are something that most of us could use. So that is that. If you have any interesting stories from either hauntings or cryptids or, just things that we don't quite know what's going on, where you come from, let me know about it in the comments section or come to Blackbird's Brew on Gilded and tell us your stories there. There's a link to join us in the description box and you would be very welcome. But that'll do it for now, and I will see you next time. Bye.